This passage is an excerpt from the first chapter of Christy Brown's autobiographical book. The book describes how Brown, a sufferer from cerebral palsy who is unable to speak but has the unconditional love and support of his family, struggles and triumphs over his disability by learning to communicate using his left foot. In this first chapter, entitled The Letter A, Brown describes his first attempt at written communication. Brown went on to write several novels and books of poetry before dying in 1981 at the age of 49. My Left Foot was published in 1954 and was made into an Oscar-winning movie in 1989. Although My Left Foot is a memoir, it has many of the characteristics of fiction, such as a strong plot. You will map the plot as you read, identifying the major problem, noting how the central characters solve or deal with the problem, the climax of the story, and the insight of the central characters as they arrive at a resolution. You will also be discussing the qualities of the major characters in the selection and identifying evidence from the text to support your conclusions. As you read and reread the selection, I want you to prepare a rough plot diagram similar to the ones here. You should first identify the exposition or setting of the selection. You can include information about the location, time period, and any helpful background information to set the stage for the story. You should then identify the major conflict, problem, or challenge that the main characters are facing. This would be placed near the conflict area on the bottom left of your plot diagram triangle, indicated by the red arrow. Next, you would include the sequential incidents, events, actions, or comments that help to build up to the main event or climax of the story. The climax is the action that brings a solution to the problem and usually helps to reveal new insights about characters in the story. This would be placed at the peak or top of your plot diagram triangle. The final items recorded would be any actions or events after the climax that shows the impact of the solution. These are the pieces of the following action. And finally, record or make note of how the problem or conflict is resolved. Another way to think about this text is to consider the character traits of the main characters. Character traits in writing come from noticing the descriptive language, word choice, tone, and actions of the characters. When recording your thoughts about character qualities, you can construct a version of a double-entry journal in a chart format. On the left, you would record the passage or quote from the text with page numbers. On the right-hand side of the chart, you will identify what character traits that passage helps to demonstrate or is a good example of. Finally, you'll be asked to explain how you think the passage works to show that trait, as well as any personal connections, reactions, or discussions about its significance or importance in describing the character accurately. You will also be asked to make comparisons between the written text and the short visual video clips provided. You can use a graphic organizer like a Venn diagram to help organize your thinking when doing comparing and contrasting. One circle would represent the written text, and the other circle would represent the visual text. In the overlapping space in the middle, you would record the aspects that are similar between the written and visual text. In the outer regions of each circle, you would jot down what was different or unique about them when comparing the two.